Hey guys, SK here. Just wanted to let you know in advance that this series comes with a heavy content warning for graphic depictions of violence and abuse, both physical and psychological. The creator also has a small battery of content warnings they wanted to put out front, and we'll list those in full in the description below. Thanks. I woke up the next morning feeling sick. My legs did not obey my command to get out of bed. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to ask Alma to call it off, but I didn't want to disappoint her. I didn't know what they'd do to her if she said something outrageous sounding as the river is cursed. It might even hurt me more. A knock at the door pulled me out of my thoughts. "Mercy, it's time for school!" Just as my luck would have it, it was Alma. She entered the room when I failed to respond. "Mercy?" "Alma, what's wrong? You don't look so good." I rubbed my arm nervously. "Alma, I think we should tell everyone another day." Alma stared at me blankly, as if I were speaking in another language. "Why?" I struggled to put my reasoning into words with malaise distracting me. "I don't want you to get hurt. Really, really don't. I don't know what they'll do if you tell them that." Alma wasn't responding, starting to getting a little uneasy with how intensely she stared at me. Finally, her lips moved. "Is that so?" "Fine. Tomorrow it is." She turned away and headed towards the door. Even though she said fine, I couldn't help but feel like we didn't actually reach an agreement. Maybe we can do it You better hurry up and get ready for school. I'll have to take a detour to miss the morning drink. Meet up with me at the entrance. Alma left as soon as she said her piece. I sat there more anxious than I was before. What was that? Maybe she could tell I was mostly thinking about myself. I felt immense guilt. Walking to school in the grass fields made me uneasy. One week I tried going to school through the fields so nobody would bully me, but Faust found out and my moments of peace came to an end. With Alma leading the way, I felt much safer. When we approached the school, we noticed a few students leaning against the wall or sitting on the ground. Would have assumed that they were... Okay, so I guess you were right. Yeah, okay. Would have assumed they were hanging around before class, but I noticed they weren't even talking to each other. They weren't even looking at anything. Excuse me. I glanced at Alma. She too seemed nervous, and she whispered to me. "You sure you don't want me to tell everyone?" I nodded. I felt like a weakling. Please God, don't let this be a sign it's too late. The bell rang. The teacher entered a little slower than usual. She stood behind the lectern and opened her book of scripture. For a few minutes, she stared at the pages, unmoving. Good morning." There were some whispers here and there, but none of the usual buzz of gossip that I expect from something as interesting as the teacher be acting intoxicated. I glanced at Alma again, but I couldn't read her expression. The teacher gulped. "Today's lesson is... Today..." She rubbed her right temple while leaning on her elbow, then shut the book. "You know what? I forget what we're supposed to do today, so why don't we all go out and draw?"
"Why don't you all read chapter 38 of whatever book you want?"
No, it's like read chapters 1 through 38 of... What was it? It was something like that. It was really good. Draw? You haven't had an art day since 6th year. Looked around the classroom to see if anyone was as excited as me, but the best reactions the teacher got were waxy smiles. My brief moment of joy was washed away by uneasiness. The teacher motioned vaguely at Deliliah, who stood up and bowed her head.
"Everyone, form a line of pairs and thirds and follow me. We've only got enough supplies for partner drawing, so please pick who you think you'll get along well with. The more thirds, the better."
My muscles tensed. Wait, why isn't Delilah spaced out? The class got up in a zombie-like trance and followed Delilah's instructions. Nin and a woozy-looking Clara followed after her. Alma approached me as we stood right in the center of the line. She chewed her lip and then turned to whisper to me. "The fact that she's fine is creepier than the fact that everybody's not fine." I agreed. Maybe it's because she's an heir. Again with this logic. We stood silently in line in the hallway until we reached the front. Delilah and Nin handed out sketchbooks and pencils while Clara stood behind them, sweating. Nin, too, seemed perfectly lucid. She held out a sketchbook to Alma, and Alma took it. Nin's hands lingered on the sketchbook for a few seconds before she let go. The whole time, they glared at one another. I gulped. After everyone received their sketchbooks, we were instructed to head outside on a hill near the school and draw whatever we saw fit. Alma and I sat down on the very top, but our sketchbook remained unopened. We watched as numerous students stumbled and giggled. One person was even squishing something in the grass. Hey, Mercy. Alma pulled my attention away from the oddity. Let's forget all this for now. What do you want to draw? I noticed you looked really excited when she said draw. Never seen you so happy before. I smiled. Alma was so smart. She knew how to cheer me up. Actually, I opened up the sketchbook and hunched over Siley. I really like to draw. Well, come to think of it, you mentioned you used to draw until the bullying that ruined that for you, right? You like it that much? I nodded vigorously. Vigor, vigor, vigor. My reaction seemed to amuse Alma a lot. Show me what you have. A knife.
No.
Try drawing us. Okay. I felt nervous drawing with her watching, but I didn't want to be rude and tell her to look away or anything. My pencil moved along the paper as I drew a nice picture of Alma and I, the charcoal slowly forming recognizable shapes. I was out of practice, so I had some difficulties with her hair and controlling my strokes. But eventually, I managed to a finished piece. Even though it had been so long, it felt like it wasn't that bad for being a few years out of shape. There. Oh, you're fast. So wide. Alma quietly observed my drawing. Her expression turned from excited to bored. I started to sweat. Why wasn't she saying anything? What's wrong? How do I put this? Usually when someone tells me they can draw, I expect it to look good. My mouth went dry. I'm not the best, but... Suddenly, Alma tore out the page and handed it to me. She was rough with a corner of the page. She was so rough with it that a corner of the page tore off. Here you go. I'm gonna draw next. Alma took the sketchbook and pencil out of my hands. I sat there, shocked. Stared at my picture. I didn't know what was wrong with it.
It's such a good picture.
Surely it wasn't realistic, but I like to draw things kind of cute looking. I gripped the edges of the paper. Before my eyes, the strokes became smudged and inky. Then I touched the blotches of ink. They turned out to be damp. Pulled my fingers away and looked at my fingertips. Sure enough, they had a little ink on them. Mercy! Someone yelled my name and it wasn't Alma. Looked for a place to hide the drawing, but the logic caught up to me before I could make myself obvious. So stupid, it's just a vision. I used a pencil, not ink. Approaching us was Deliliah. Both Alma and I stiffened, going on the defensive. Deliliah smiled at us like nothing was wrong. Her aura felt deceptive, manipulative. No matter what she says, I shouldn't reply.
Hello. It's been a while since I've seen you draw, so I wanted to...
Delilah's expression turned grim. I broke into a cold sweat. Alma followed Delilah's gaze, and she too appeared shocked. What's wrong? Two of them looked at each other, then back to me. Mercy, where'd you get the ink? Time stopped. It's not right. I shouldn't be able to see it. It's all just a vision. The more nervous I became, the more ink dripped through the paper and onto my skirt.
I guess I must have accidentally given you something that produces ink. Sorry, it was my fault.
Deliliah tried to appear calm.
Well, I'm going to go tell the teacher we should return to class, so get ready to go back.
Okay. Alma didn't say a word when I glanced at her. She only nervously gestured for me to stand up. The three of us faced the school. From our vantage point, we were able to see the rest of the class's sketchbooks. Naturally, my eyes wandered to see what everyone else had drawn. My blood ran ice cold. Every single picture was drawn in heavy ink, and every single picture was something strange and unrecognizable.
Did I pick up the right supplies?
Delilah put a hand to her forehead and rushed down the hill. Alma and I didn't know what to say. We returned to the classroom uneasy. I gotta admit, the more I think I've figured out what the game is here, the more I'm like, I still don't understand. Alma and I were walking through the town after school, ready to go home. Classes weren't any less strange after the impromptu drawing lesson. Our teacher had us read from the textbook by ourselves for the entire rest of the day. Faust and Clara weren't just uninterested in messing with me, they were uninterested in everything else. We didn't even get any lunch. Things were so exhausting we didn't even bother to take the other route home. I just want to get back, eat, and take a hot bath or something. I nodded in agreement. As we crossed the bridge, I glanced at the people drinking the water again. Multiple people were having trouble getting the water into their mouths from the ladle. I expected that sort of mistake from the elderly and little kids, but adults and teenagers too? Oof! Ah! Someone bumped into Alma. She almost fell, but I quickly caught her. It was a man stumbling around and holding his head.
My brain.
It trembles! He slowly opened his eyes and stared at us. What do you want? Huh? I said, what do you want? Why'd you get in my way? The town didn't have any more alcohol, not after the shortage.
Huh.
Okay. But this man was acting a lot like how my parents would late at night. Let's go. I ushered Alma away. Every time I looked back during the walk up the hill, he was staring at us. Some other people stumbled around and fell. Some of them were people from class.
So what? So,
Hit me.
Delilah and Nin plotted to retrieve something from that underground passageway and spike the river with it. And it's not doing what they thought it would.
You think they're the ones that spiked the river?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they thought they had a way to cure whatever was going on with the town.
Gotcha. And they're just kind of... And it's not doing what they thought it would.
Yeah. That's my thought.
Huh. And some reason that's causing everyone to see what we've been seeing.
Yeah, because what we are seeing is not visions, nor is it simply mental illness. It is something related to water.
Do you think what we're seeing is how things actually are? And that's something that's something in our town has conditioned everyone to be seeing it this way?
I considered that, but what we're seeing is too odd. Things like ink trees growing from places where trees cannot, and insects crawling out of one's mouth, and injuries and so on is just not a thing that occurs. So I don't know. I don't have a good explanation for what instead it is that we're seeing.
Fair enough. Well, let's continue going. We're at law right now, so we should be getting pretty close. Mercy, this is weird. Does this always happen? This isn't normal. The oak doors squeaked loudly. I wish they didn't. I didn't want our presence to be known. Nothing felt safe right then. Barrier priestess approached us, stumbling a little as she walked.
Mercy, Alma.
She stared at us for 2 minutes as we waited for her to finish. She blinked constantly.
Dinner now.
Yes, ma'am. I'm surprised Delilah didn't pick up on us not being.
We are affected by what's affecting everyone else. We already were.
Oh. Oh, I'm very slow on the cupcake. We entered the dining room. The head and Nin were already seated. Nin had her arms crossed. She didn't greet us at all. The head's expression appeared grave.
Let us all sit and eat. There's no need for prayers tonight.
Huh? We all sat and dug in. Halfway through our meals, the head spoke up.
You three.
We stopped.
Have you noticed anything strange lately?
Alma and I looked at each other nervously. Nin crossed her arms again, eyes shut. The river is an odd color, sir.
Is that so? Thank you for being honest. You may go back to eating.
Even the head was acting unusual. It was getting harder to keep my food down. When we finished and left the dining room to head upstairs, the head called out to the twins.
Nin, Alma, I need to have a chat with you.
Alma and I looked at each other nervously. Yes, sir. I headed upstairs as Alma followed the head with her sister. We didn't say any parting words. We were too nervous. I entered my room and peeled off my school uniform, putting on my nightgown and taking out my hairband. Would have never thought the day I'd get to draw again would be the most exhausting one of my life. It's called chibi, Alma. I laid down in bed and thought long and hard about the pictures in Deliliah and Nin's behavior. My anxious mind wandered to the worst-case scenario. Did they have something to do with this? Almost assuredly. I pulled the covers over me, but I didn't feel relaxed at all. Mercy! I jolted up in bed. Alma had suddenly slammed open the door and ran towards my bedside. She gripped my shoulders with a terrified expression, more terrified than I'd ever seen her look. Alma? Tears welled up in her eyes and her voice choked up. See, we have to tell everyone tomorrow, please. I shook. The way she gripped me reminded of something I did not want to remember. Please. Okay, I promise. Just please let me go. Alma's hand slowly lost her grip and slid off my shoulders down to my elbows. Her eyes were puffy and red. I wondered what could have possibly transpired in the past 8 minutes to scare Alma so much. Had the events of that day gotten to her? Good night. She left the room, sniffling. I hid under the covers. The air was so heavy. When I left the church for school, Alma was standing near the gates. Was she waiting for me? My heart fluttered at the thought. Good morning. Oh, it's nice to see you smile again. It really is. Where's Nin? She went ahead of me without a word, like she did yesterday, too. Things must be so difficult for Alma right now. Alma helped me so much. I wondered what I could do to help her in return. She leaned in and whispered, her breath tickling my cheek. That's okay. I have to tell you something. What is it? Alma placed her hands on her hips. I'll tell everyone about the curse when class starts. That soon? Deliliah and Nin want to kill us to keep the word from getting out, and we have to act as soon as possible. You're right. Alma was so smart. It doesn't seem that simple, though, because clearly Nin knows something is up with Alma, and the two of them are... It feels like Nin and Alma are the ones with agency here.
Yeah.
It feels like it's them having a spat. And Deliliah and Mercy are just kind of the ones in the crossfire.
There's also absolutely no reason to believe Deliliah and Nin want to kill them.
Yeah. She was much smarter than I was. But we walked down to the hill, past people staring out into the horizon. Now people are barely moving around compared to yesterday. I whispered to Alma. You drink from the river again already? They should have. We crossed the bridge. People turned around slowly and stared at us. They didn't move, like statues. All they did was stare. 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 When we reached the school, I glanced at the path to escape. No, I had to stay with Alma. The bell rang unceremoniously. Alma and I walked into class side by side. Students stared and stared at us, just like the people outside. Mercy, ignore them. Someone in the hall behind us was twitching uncontrollably. Nin didn't look at us. I felt like I just dragged Alma into my mess. The tickling sensation of a beetle's wings brushed by my fingertips. We took our seats as the teacher walked in, her roll call in hand. Even she looked a little uneasy. Her face was red and sweat dripped from her brow. I gripped the edge of my desk. Everyone. The teacher swallowed so hard I could see it from here. She looked sick.
Teacher, are you all right?
I'm fine. I ate too fast this morning is all. Thank you for your concern. With shaky breath and shivering hands, she took the pencil on the podium and positioned it over the roll call paper. Before she could say anything, someone's head slumped onto their desk. It was some random student I never bothered to learn the name of. The kid behind her reached out and tapped her back. She didn't respond. People muttered uneasily. Ma'am, I don't think Georgia is okay. I'll count her on the roll. We'll take her to the infirmary later. Stay calm, okay? Ma'am. Alma raised her hand now of all times. I knew what she was going to say and I held my breath. Alma? I have something I need to tell the class. She stood up in her seat. Delilah froze and gave Alma a cold look, but didn't say anything. Putting her hands to her chest, she inhaled and spoke. Lately, ever since I descended upon this town, I've been seeing alarming things. Nobody said anything. Time froze. Laughter came from the 8th grade classroom behind us. A raindrop hit the window pane closest to me. Was it going to rain? Right now, as I look out into the class, I see the forces of darkness, and I think... You! Oh, that's you. Sorry.
You!
Nin interrupted her, getting out of her seat as well. The class didn't gossip at all.
You contaminated the water, didn't you? Oh,
Alma
that's
and
interesting.
I froze. Oh!
They think
We did.
we did it. We think they did it. I wonder
Okay,
what's
but hear
going
me out.
on.
Hear me out. Could Alma still have done it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't suspect the head. He seemed surprised by it.
He's an asshole for other reasons.
Yeah.
But one by one, people in the class got out of their chairs mechanically, looking straight at us. Everybody shook and twitched abnormally, the laughing in the next classroom one over, never stopping. Delilah, Clara, and I were the only ones still seated.
Everyone, calm down. No, Delilah, we're not calming down.
I slowly got out of my seat and stood next to Alma, who only looked at what she had done without saying a word. The students shuffled to Nin's side in an inhuman manner.
You betrayed this whole town. You betrayed their hopes for your own selfish reasons. I can't take this anymore. I'm stopping you both now. Get them.
Doors slammed open in the hall, with floods of giggling and laughter of all ages flowing shortly after. Someone shattered a window. Someone screamed about God. Faust began to lead a chant. No mercy for mercy. No mercy for mercy. I bet you thought I wasn't going to show up again. My former classmates dove at me, and Alma swiped me out of the way. We have to run. The door nearly flew off its hinges when we ran out. The hall, countless numbers of students and staff wandered around like zombies. One person slowly lowered themselves to the floor and put their ear against the carpet.
It's red. It's red. I can hear red.
Where do we go? Already a few students from class made their way out of the room, their heads moving around like searchlights before unnaturally snapping to us when they realized where we were. It does definitely seem like Nin is in control of this, though.
Yeah, that also is interesting. Nin and Delilah don't seem to know the cause of what's happening, but Nin seems to be in control of it. So, is Nin lying to Delilah and Alma also to us?
Maybe? It seems to me like Nin is in too much in control of the situation to not know what's happening. So, what I think is he lied to Delilah. Or, I'm sorry, that she lied to Delilah about what was... about what they were doing to the water.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah. And is now acting surprised so Delilah, I think, is very much a bystander. But Nin, I think she's the one that's, I think Nin, this is still somehow a scuffle between Nin and Alma. And Delilah and us are just kind of on the sidelines. Right when we reached the washing sink, someone broke through the window in front of us. His body was covered in scratches. As he slowly lifted himself off the ground, the glass under his palms shattered and pierced his skin. Mercy. Ah! Alma squealed and stepped back. few more kids got out through the window, not bothering to break off the residue glass on the panes. A 12th year screamed when a piece sunk into her thigh. Get it out! Get it out! Hurry, hurry, hurry! They're gonna get my blood! I don't want it in my blood! No, no, no! The kids who were coming after us stopped and stared at the girl in a moment of confusion. They couldn't seem to focus on more than one thing. Suddenly, someone grabbed my free hand.
Over here, hurry.
Deliliah?
Don't just stand there. Follow me.
I didn't have a chance to stop her. I grabbed Alma's hand in a confused daze. The three of us ran back towards the school in a daisy chain. Yeah, see, I think this caught Deliliah off guard too.
Yeah.
However, I don't know... While Nin has taken control of the situation, I don't know if they're...
We'll see.
I'm so confused. Alma tried to wring her hand out of my grip. She was surprisingly strong and managed to tear it away. I forced Deliliah to stop. Why are you taking us back to the school?
Be quiet and trust me.
Why?
I know a place to hide. Nobody has the coordination to capture us right now. Stop panicking.
Alma's mouth clamped firmly shut. She didn't object anymore and let me take her hand. We entered the first floor where the primary school classes were, running past a gaggle of children rolling around on the floor and giggling, into the classroom closest to the entrance. Inside, Clara was pushing all the chairs to one side of the room and leaving the desks on the other. Just gotta get them sorted real quick.
Miss Deliliah! Good work, Clara.
Deliliah slammed the door behind us and set one chair underneath the doorknob and started shoving the rest of the chairs in front of the door.
Hey, look!
Huh? Our teacher stared at us through the window. Her hands and face pressed up against the glass so hard her nose flattened against the pane, bending in a painful direction. Blood spilled out of her nostril and slid down the glass. More and more students looked inside. One was looking around for something behind the crowd. Deliliah didn't want to find out exactly what they sought.
Damn it.
She roughly pulled the curtain shut and ran over to a wood panel in the back of the classroom. Her fingers gripped the edge of the panel and slowly it came off. My mouth opened in shock. Secret passageway in our school.
Miss Deliliah, I think some are trying to come in through the door. I know. Stay calm, just stay calm.
Alma gripped her hands together, so hard her knuckles turned a shade lighter. Deliliah set the wood panel aside. A dark void rested beyond the few inches that the room's lighting could hit.
Everyone, go in one by one, and don't stop crawling until you can lift your head.
She spoke with a lowered voice so the people trying to get inside couldn't hear. Clara ducked and quickly crawled in first. She didn't even bother trying to be courteous, not even to the holy maiden right next to her. Next came Alma, who stopped and coughed after just a few seconds of crawling. Alma! It's so dusty. Ah! Sound of glass breaking made her speed up immediately. I followed soon after, and Deliliah came behind me as quick as she could, going in rear first so she could close the panel again. The second it closed, the glass of the window completely shattered and the floor broke open. We froze and held our breath. With all the dust floating around, it was hard not to sneeze. Cobweb tickled my nose. Some footsteps came close. In the corners of my vision, eyes dotted the left wall of the passageway. Where are you, Alma? Whoa, sorry, that's you.
Where are you, Alma?
That's Nin's voice. Alma inhaled sharply and the footsteps stopped.
They couldn't have just disappeared like that.
Come on, what's the deal? Who cares about that stuff anymore? Foster was there too. His speech was slurred and a bit of a shake to it. They'll come out eventually, Nin. They can't hide forever. We'll just wait.
Fine.
Ah, the glass cut my hand. It did, stupid. A little commotion, they left. Clara huffed and immediately started crawling again. We eventually made it to an open, dark room. There wasn't a lot of space to move around in. My feet bumped into something that felt like a box. Ah! Deliliah turned on an emergency lantern. Alma blinked her eyes rapidly, struggling to get used to the sudden light. We were in a very small, very dusty room. The emergency lantern barely lit it up. You see, there were holes in there where there could have been windows.
Miss Deliliah, where are we? This is an older part of the school. The classroom here used to be a staff room, and they would crawl through the hole here to manually ring the old school bell. Now it's just an unused storage area.
The box I knocked into had cans of food and a few meal packets. Cans of water as well.
I've been storing supplies in this place for 5 days now, in case anything went wrong.
So that's why she had that bag of stuff before. I had to do it to him. Alma sat down and curled up on the floor, shaking hard. She made small, terrified noises. I bent down next to her. Alma? Nene, why did you do that to me? All over some candy?
What's she whining about?
What I want to know is why Clara's here. Clara's voice shook a little.
Mercy, maybe you should leave her alone for now. She'll need time to process what happened.
Deliliah put her hand on my shoulder like a loving mother. I got up and backed away from Alma, so she sat there, shivering every once in a while. Her sobs filled the room. Everybody felt uncomfortable.
I'm sure everyone is tired.
Deliliah broke the silence.
Feel free to lie down and rest up. The floor isn't as comfortable as a bed, but it's better than finding out what everyone would have done with us had we stood around.
Clara nodded obediently and immediately rested in a corner. I got down on the floor and tried to sleep. Exhaustion hit me quickly like always. Alma's whimpering faded out as my mind faded into the darkness. So what the fuck is... Mercy, wake up. Someone shakes me awake. Mercy, you're up. Alma? Come on, everyone's waiting for us. I look around. We're still in the same dusty little room, but Clara and Deliliah are nowhere to be seen. She grabs my hands and helps me up, and I shyly crawl into the passageway with her. I can hear chairs moving around in the classroom. Alma pushes open the panel door and light fills the crouched entryway. The room is filled with students. It's like nothing happened. The crisis over? People come up to me and greet me with smiling faces. Mercy, are you alright? What was it like hiding in there? Nina approaches me with an apologetic expression.
Sorry, I don't know what got into me. You didn't deserve that.
I nod, confused. Alma drags me away from the crowd, trying to engulf me. Deliliah and Clara seem happy for me. Even Faust has a smile on his face.
This can't be actually happening, right?
No, we're still dreaming. Alma pulls me into the next room over, which is empty. When I look out the window, I see people celebrating. What happened? The madness worn off once we all woke up. We're safe now, Mercy. Just like I told you. What about the curse? All it took was that little crisis and everyone became so much more understanding. They know what you go through now every day. When we're done here, the head wants to personally apologize to you and work on purification as a real team. I can't respond. I don't know how to respond. This feels like a dream. I'm not going to get hurt ever again. Near the window stands Alma. She's toying with the end of her skirt, smiling joyfully down at me. The sun shining into the room makes her glow like a goddess. Alma? Isn't the weather beautiful? She twirls around and flips her skirt up more. I blush. What is she trying to do? Against my better judgment, I try to see what's underneath, but all I can see is darkness. It's very pretty. You talking about the weather too, or me? She stands there lovingly lifting up her skirt until I can almost see something. Hey Mercy, before we go see the head, I want to talk to you about something. I gulp. What is it? Oh, it's nothing that special, but I'm wondering if you could... Huh? I said I was wondering if you could... What are you talking about? You and me in the room with only... Alma, what are you doing? Blackness spills out of her mouth. Mercy, do you like me? Are you... No, something's wrong. No, everything's fine now. Just come to me. Now.
I like how the title went all the way to the end and then leapt back.
So we've been at law for a while now.
Yeah.
And during that sequence, it jumped all the way to Tito. And I'm like, that's not right. It skipped some notes.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I know, it's my solfege. This is Clara, I think.
Mercy?
I abruptly woke up in the little room. Clara was sitting right next to me, and she jumped in surprise.
What's wrong with you? First I get barely any sleep, and now you're freaking out about random stuff.
I ignored her and looked around. Deliliah was nowhere to be seen, but Alma still remained in the corner. She had stopped crying. Crawling over, I looked at her tear-streaked face and tried to wipe away the dry tear trails away. Alma? She pushed my hand away and buried her face in her skirt. I didn't know what to say. I curled up next to her, the gravel on the floor leaving bigger imprints in my skin the longer I sat on it. Lesbians. Nobody moved, only staring at the lamp. The sound of something scraping against the wall outside caused me to jump. Someone was crawling in.
Calm down, it's just Deliliah.
I instantly relaxed, but the calm was soon replaced by feelings of frustration. Clara wouldn't stop talking to me like I was a child. Sweat poured down her face, her huge forehead, all the way to her chin, her face wet. Why did she think she got to talk to me like that when she looked that way? Delilah's head poked out from the entrance. She had taken off her jacket like everyone else, leaving only her dress shirt and tie.
Hot, isn't it? You can take off your jacket, Mercy. It's not as if there's a class to return to.
Alma lifted her head up. Clara perked up and scooted over a little as if to say, "Sit by me."
Miss Deliliah, what is it like out there? I could only peek my head out of the hallway. A few children and their teachers are still roaming around the school. They've completely destroyed the classroom we came in from, and all the windows I've seen have been broken.
A chill ran down my spine. What happened? What could have possibly caused it? The curse? At least it isn't my fault this time, came to mind, and I immediately perished the thought. This was both mine and Alma's responsibility, I thought. Yeah, so we should have been the ones to fix it. I looked at Alma, wondering if she was thinking the same thing. Her expression was filled with contempt. This is all your fault.
Excuse me?
Alma spoke in a voice not unlike the scary voice from my dream. There was no calming smile and no cheerful light in her eyes. I don't know what you and Nina did, but it's definitely all your fault. You knew something was wrong with the water, too. That's why you're lucid. What did you do?
I did realize something was wrong, yes, so I didn't drink it. But to be quite honest, I don't think you have much room to talk when it comes to the matter of what caused this situation.
Shut up. Clara scrambled to stand up next to her beloved master.
Hey, don't talk to Miss Deliliah like that. I don't care if you're a holy whatever or not, you... Clara. I'm sorry.
Alma stopped hugging herself and stood up, coming face to face with Clara. Don't speak when you're where you shouldn't, you little shit.
Little shit?
And why are you so alert anyways? Did you not drink any of the water too? Why? Maybe you're a little smarter than you look. My blood ran cold. I didn't know what to do. Alma, stop. Shut your mouth, Mercy. This is none of your business. I shut my mouth. I'm sorry.
Alma, I know you're upset. But this is misplaced anger. Direct it at something more productive instead of trying to start a fight in an already stressful situation.
How do you think I feel? Right before my eyes, black roots grew at Alma's feet, wrapping around her ankles and securing her to the floor. Blooming from a bud on a branch came forth a beetle. Its little black shell slid open, wings bursting forth and buzzing about. I've been tossed around ever since I showed up here. Wanted to hurry up and get out of here, but now it's impossible to escape, and on top of it all, I'm tied in some maddeningly hot little crawl space.
How is that my fault?
Delilah struggled to stay calm, crossing her arms firmly. Alma's hand twitched. You know exactly how it's your fault.
I do?
Yeah, you...
Shut up, shut up, shut up. I've had it up to here with your crap.
In that moment, Clara shoved Alma. I froze up and rushed to the other side of the room, crawling away in the hopes I wouldn't be seen. You. You want to see what I'm made of? Alma straightened her back. She looked much bigger than she usually does. Clara cowered.
Enough. Alma, you're probably starving. Eat some food to see if that will calm you down, okay?
It was Delilah to the rescue again. The three of them stepped away, with Delilah moving to get the food out. I relaxed. The danger had passed. I didn't try thinking about anything. I just wanted to eat. So what the fuck? I didn't know what time it was. The only window there had been boarded and bricked up, leaving only a dark void that was hard for a floor lamp to reach. We ate. We slept. I woke up first. I still didn't process what happened that day, or was it the day before? I picked up my nails until only stubs were left. I didn't like sitting still there. It felt like someone was going to get me any minute. Someone was going to find us eventually. I was sure of it, even if the door blended in well with the rest of the wall. Someone will hear us bumping around or arguing in here. Maybe someone will sense our presence. Maybe someone here is a double agent reporting to the other side. Maybe Delilah's still trying to kill me, and this is a part of her and Nin's plan. I glanced at her sleeping form near the lamp. She seemed so peaceful. Too peaceful compared to the others. Clara was still sweating, and Alma's lips were pursed tightly. Delilah looked just like a baby. Makes sense now. My eyes wandered to the water tanks. Wondered how heavy they were. No. Couldn't do something like that, and I shouldn't ask Alma to do it. Getting down on the floor, I crawled through the tunnel until I hit the end. Strained my ears for any signs of life beyond the wooden slab. Silence. I almost moved to open the door, but quickly stopped myself. No. Can't just believe that someone isn't there because I can't hear anything. It's possible that if there's a double agent and that double agent's name is Deliliah, she's waited for this moment. Meaning that someone she's hired is mad enough to wait in silence until we wake up might be just beyond this slab. Meaning Nin. I bit my lip. I don't think I'll be getting fresh air today. I started back out of the tunnel when my rear met resistance. Ah! A familiar voice and the tinkling of bells alerted me. Just behind me was Alma. She was rubbing her head. Alma, I'm sorry. What's wrong, Mercy? Do you not want to go out? The evil voice was gone. Normal Alma was speaking to me. I'm scared. Why? That someone like Nin will be out there? It's okay, I don't think anyone is out there. Really? Yeah. I trusted Alma. She would never betray me. So I pushed open the slab. One hand went out. 2 hands went out. Popped my head out, too. It was late at night. I didn't know what day it was, but if I had to guess, it was our first night there. I crawled out completely and stood up, glad to finally be somewhere with more open space. Alma followed shortly after, picking up a tiny chair off the floor. I joined her. We sat next to one another. It felt strange to sit in a chair without a surface or a pew in front of me, much less a chair that was too small for anyone my age. The whole moment felt completely alien. There was broken glass on the floor, scratched up walls, desks, chairs scattered throughout the room, and strange chalk scribbles on the board. The scene of mad vandalism. Alma looked down at the wooden floors and tapped her feet together, crunching a few pieces of glass underneath her shoe. This is horrible. Sorry for earlier. I was confused and upset and couldn't control my emotions. It's okay, Alma. I forgive you. The air felt awkward between us. Did I tell her about my dream about the black roots? Hey, Mercy. She spoke first. I'm concerned. Concerned? I don't think that everyone in that room is on our side. I thought so, too. Good of you to be stoking that anxiety, Alma. Alma smiled with glee. Really? She turned a little to face me. Her posture mirrored mine exactly. Alma's face quickly went from happy to grave. So you know Deliliah is suspicious. And Clara would do anything for Deliliah. See where I'm going with this? I nodded. I think they might be planning to take us somewhere dangerous. They'll act like the coast is clear and suddenly, bam, we'll be tortured to death. I nodded again with more vigor. Wow, you really do believe me. I'm so happy you trust me, Mercy. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, you believed that. I didn't think you would. I mean...
Wow.
Yeah.
That was easy. What are we going to do? That's easy. We trick them. We make them think we'll follow them wherever they go, but as soon as things start to look bad, we run when they aren't looking. Mom was so smart. She put her head on her chin, resting her elbows on her legs. But I'm worried. Oh, but I'm worried. Why? It's not, maybe if we're just nice to them, they'll see a reason not to kill us? Alma sighed. Mercy. You're worried about that motto, right? Do unto others and so on and so forth? I nodded. Alma was so smart. That's true, then you have the right to betray them like this. You have all sorts of rights. You even have the right to kill them if you want. Kill? Shh, yes. Don't you get it? What do you even owe these people? Everyone here has fed me and clothed me and given me a roof over my head. It doesn't mean anything. They're supposed to do that, to take care of you. None of your logic makes sense, Mercy. I held my head in my hands. What was I supposed to make of that? I've been taught my whole life that this is how it is. If I didn't owe them anything, why did she suggest we tell everyone about the curse? Are you tired, Mercy? Now that she mentioned it, my eyelids felt heavy. I must have only slept for a few hours. Alma was so smart. We keep saying that phrase.
Yeah.
Over and over. I wonder if she's somehow not grooming us, but not hypnotizing, but like somehow like conditioning us.
Yeah, maybe.
Something. Come on, let's go back in. I'll put the chairs back where they were. Okay. Pinky promise? About our plan? Alma held up her pinky finger. I tilted my head. Pinky promise? You don't know what a pinky promise is? Geez, there's still so much I have to teach you. See, you hold out your pinky like I am, then we lock them, and then we shake. Like this. Like we're doing right now. No, you don't have to contort your whole body violently.
You said to shake.
Just the pink. Okay. I'm realizing where the learning gap is here. I did as she said, and we pulled our hands away. Alma gave me a smile with a hint of mischief in it. Now you've done the pinky promise. You can't break the promise, or you'll get stabbed in the eyes with 1,000 needles.
Here are the needles. I counted them this morning.
Huh? I sat up straight. Let's go now. What a weird way to promise something. Anyway, one awkward recording break later. We woke up to screaming.
Ah.
There wasn't anyone in the room or even anyone in the school. It was a muffled din made up of about 60 or so people, loud enough to reach this little room. Nobody moved.
What's going on out there?
Don't even worry about it.
Nobody leave.
The screaming and shouting kept going for a good 30 minutes. The entire time we sat in fear. Slowly, the voices reduced in number. Soon it was quiet enough that we couldn't hear it anymore. Nobody said anything.
I'll make some food. Don't let it get to you. We're safe here.
Despite Delilah's attempt at comfort, our entire group seemed so disoriented. Delilah placed the self-heating unit with the main course in it against a stack of boxes. Expanded and steamed up significantly. My stomach gurgled. Was it breakfast or was it lunch? Either way, my hunger didn't care. Clara munched on hardtack. staring into the distance as if she wasn't completely there, muttering to herself.
Want to sleep more. Only 3 hours.
Alma chewed on a piece of gum, playing tic-tac-toe with me and using my four fingers in the thick layer of dust on the floor. Excuse me. Every time I won, she pouted and chewed faster. Take that.
It's done. Everyone take equal parts. There's only so much to go around.
Delilah set down her tray with a piece of square mystery meat on it. Package said beef, but mystery meat was what the head always called it, so it was what we said too. She cut it evenly with a plastic knife, and we dug in using the plastic forks from dinner last night. I really wondered if she poisoned it, but that was impossible. They were all tightly sealed bags, and Ella and I watched her the whole time. We were safe for now. Garbage compactor at the very beginning of the game. Books being so hard to replace once they were destroyed.
Oh.
It is a fucking ship of some kind. I think.
Maybe.
Oh, I want to believe it. I coughed. I accidentally swallowed before I finished chewing.
Mercy? Mercy, are you all right?
Delilah rushed to my aid. I couldn't stop coughing. The meat stuck in my throat. Shards slapped my back hard. Soon enough, I spit it out. A half-chewed chunk of meat hit the floor with a disgusting splat.
There. Don't eat too fast, or things like that will happen.
Delilah returned to where she was sitting. Alma gave me a worried look. For a brief moment, I felt Clara's eyes on me, but as soon as I returned to face her, she went back to munching on hardtack, dipping it in the meat sauce to make it softer. Some part of me felt guilt. Were Delilah's actions really that of someone conspiring to murder us? No. There have been so many times where people pretended to be kind to me only betrayed me shortly after. Yeah!
Huh.
Yeah! Delilah had to be one of them. Everybody listened to her and went along with her ideas. It was only another part of the endless play with boring, repetitive acts. The only things that changed were the methods. That was why the audience stayed. They wanted to see how horrible it could get, how much I could go through. Oh shit! That's kind of a meta.
Yeah?
Mercy? Huh? Just staring at your fork. Are you okay? I'm fine. I snapped out of it and finished my pathetic meal, which Delilah prepared. The one that Delilah did not poison, but would probably poison later. I went to my corner of the room with a small cup of water, drawing circles in the dust. It was so hot in here I felt like I was suffocating. There was nothing to do. It was getting so boring, the thoughts in my mind were gnawing away at my brain matter like moths to old robes. I've seen old holy women's robes infested with bugs. I like to eat cloth for whatever reason. I knew my mom tried to explain it to me, but I never bothered to pay attention. I was sure if I opened my head and looked inside, it would appear diseased and infected and riddled with larvae. Just like those old robes. I thought Alma was a cure, but she only soothed the pain. Yeah, even if we made it out alive, I was certain my bugged mind would kill me shortly after. Was there any hope for me? Alma prolonged my lifespan. Alma gave me hope in town full of people who wanted to watch the larvae fester. Alma gave me everything I needed. I clasped my hands together and gripped so hard my knuckles turned white. Nobody was paying attention. They were all still eating. I stared at them. I wonder what their heads looked like. One by one, I imagined their appearances. Clara's was small, minuscule and pathetic looking. Could only comprehend the things the world told her to do. It built a special section specifically for processing whatever Delilah said. She was the perfect accomplice. If one was special enough to earn their own section, she'd probably follow you to the ends of the earth. Of course, there was a unique bit for me, too. All of her anger towards me was in there. She'd follow me to the ends of the earth, too, but for different reasons. Even in death, her corpse would shamble along after me. Certain of it. Delilah's brain appeared fairly normal. Embedded within were holy relics. Her duties. Her father, the head, the holy woman, God. She was a saint, but with no emotion it seemed lifeless and cold, hence the lack of color. She could only mirror others' emotions. I saw through her ploy. I knew that someone with no emotion, what someone with no emotions looked like. I've seen a mirror. Oof. I've caught Delilah in rare moments where she looked just like me. And Alma's brain. Alma's brain could not be recorded with the technology of man. Instead of a traditional brain, it was that we saw in our textbooks. Surely Alma's mind was a ball of holy light, directly receiving communication from the divine God itself through a Holy Spirit channel. Refer to this particular channel as ANGEL, or AMA, Networking Grid Electronic Ley Line. Okay, that's funny. If you look closely, see the holy line of God emerging from her head into the sky through the roof. Did regular humans have God's holy line? We prayed all the time, but I never saw the holy line. Was our reception bad? We were never really blessed. It was always business as usual. It was the same blessings over and over. It never changed. The head didn't purchase an upgrade plan. I wonder if God's holy line was in my head, too. If God's holy line was in my head, then he wouldn't answer. I'd been begging for salvation for so long. What had I done wrong? How long did I have to be cursed? Was I born just to be cursed? Was my existence just a joke? It all made sense. The world meant mad because I was born. It was an elaborate and cruel joke, being born only to suffer, to cause suffering. I didn't ask to be born if nobody wanted me. Could have just put me back where I came from if you hated me that much. Dust moved every time I breathed on it. Stared intensely. It's like watching people dance from a roof. Mad, swirling dance that can only go in circles. A dust dance for people who could only handle spinning around, and around, and around, 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 and around, around, and around, around, and around, and around, and around, and around, 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 around. Baby. Right round. Until they threw up all over themselves, sick of what they'd done to themselves, tired of being alive. Just like I was. Tired of dancing around, and around, and around. I'm not doing this again.
Okay. That's fair.
I feel it. I feel you. But I'm not doing it again. Mercy. I stopped spinning. At some point I started to spin. Only just then had Alma decide to call out to me. I sat back down. How much time had passed?
Spinning. Spinning.
Clara stared at me with an unreadable expression. At some point she had taken off her ribbons, leaving her bangs in her face. She clenched the ribbon in her hand tight enough to pierce her palms, blood dripping onto the floor.
Spinning. How annoying. Clara?
Clara stared at Deliliah silently.
Why did you take your ribbon off? It gets stuffy when I have it on too long, you know? My parents make me wear it, see, because they lost our only pair of shears a long time ago. I see.
Clara pocketed her ribbon and smiled up at Deliliah. Is that a really creepy smile, or is that just me?
It seems like it is a bigger smile than normal.
Something was wrong, but I was too mentally exhausted to think much of it, and all the spinning made me dizzy. Alma gave me another concerned look. Are you all right? Do you need more water? You spilled it all over the floor.
Here, I'll get you some more.
Deliliah grabbed another cup from the stack, filling it to the brim and handing it to me. I tried drinking some. Ugh! I swallowed it down the wrong pipe and coughed. Immediately, the two girls in front of me got fussy. Mercy again. Mercy, drink. Oh, that's you.
Mercy, drink slower. Here.
Deliliah took the cup with one hand and soothed my back with the other. Putting the cup to my lips, she slowly tilted it forward and a little bit at a time, giving me small, quick sips. I closed my eyes. It felt nice. Thief. I opened my eyes. A metallic snipping sound came from the corner opposite to mine. Deliliah stopped tilting the cup immediately. We were halfway finished with it, too. Alma turned around, allowing me to see that corner. Reverse interrobang? Clara was standing up, her bangs completely covering her face. In one of her hands a large pair of shears with blades as long as my hand and wrist combined. Jesus. Opened and closed, producing the snipping sound.
I found scissors.
Whoops.
Miss Deliliah, do you want to know what happened to the shears?
She approaches Deliliah with the scissors. I guess you are my little pog champ. There's a current meme joke that won't be funny in about 6 months.
Hey.
Actually, that's kind of generous, isn't it? Slowly, Delilah stood up, her face grave.
What?
Alma helped me stand and held onto my arm long after I was already up. She's got a fucking Beato smile on her.
I stole them.
Clara's expression filled with glee. She started rubbing her cheek against the blades, the skin softly pressing against the hard metal.
You know, back when I was bullied, one of the things they liked to make fun of were my long bangs, since acolytes can't cut their hair as a rite of passage, right? Remember? But you know, I never wanted to get rid of them, no matter what they said. Miss Deliliah, I remember. Every day I remember. Remember what? Huh? You don't remember? When you complimented my bangs after you saved me.
Clara brought the shears back down to her side.
I had no hope of becoming an acolyte or being noticed by you, since I'm so dumb. But this was the one smart thing I did. After all, they can't cut my hair if they don't have the means to. Clara, why do you have them out?
On the final snip, she snapped it shut hard.
This room is really hot. It's tiny, so it gets hot easily. Did you know that living humans radiate lots of body heat?
Ooh, talking about radiate again. And also living.
It's called black body radiation. I may be dumb, but I remembered that part from science lessons at least. I got an A+ on the test about Planck's law.
Wait, Planck's law? Clara took the whole grip of the shears in her hand, flipping them around and holding them backhanded.
So, if a human is dead, they don't emit heat.
Alma pulled me close. Are you crazy?
Clearly,
yes.
Which part of that was unclear to you? Shut the hell up. You're both home-wrecking whores.
Whoa.
Clara, calm down. Die.
She lunged at us with incredible speed. No doubt, I clicked too fast. Incredible speed, no doubt thanks to her tiny body. But before she could even land a hit on us, Deliliah threw the cup of water into her eyes and pushed her so hard she fell on her back.
Ah!
Why is Deliliah so competent?
You two, we have to go now. I don't know.
When did this become like a zombie scenario, right? We crawled into the exit as quickly as possible. Alma went first, pushing open the slab so hard it flew off the wall completely. The three of us shuffled into the classroom. Deliliah bent down and tried to cover the hole to give us more time.
Here's Clara. Hey.
A hand stopped her.
I'm still trying to leave, Miss Deliliah. You wouldn't leave me behind, would you? Ugh.
Deliliah smashed her hand between the wall and the slab and scrambled to meet up with us. Alma peeked out the door. There's nobody here.
That's good. Run. Now. Miss Deliliah. Why? Why?
Clara wailed and wailed and wailed. It's more like the wailing of an infant than a person our age. Looking behind me, I saw a brief glimpse of her staring at her hand and waving her shears around. A chill ran up my spine. Our feet slammed against the floor as we made a mad dash to nowhere in particular. Bare instinct drove all of our actions. All we knew was that we needed to get away. At some point, we went up the stairs to the secondary classrooms.
Over here.
Deliliah opened the door to a seemingly random classroom. In the corner of the room were 5 large lockers. I'd forgotten. There was one room with lockers that held lesson supplies. Thankfully, 4 of them had been ransacked and emptied. Without another word, we hid in one each, closing the messed up doors as tightly as possible. I heard footsteps. Calm, slow footsteps, but certainly not quiet ones. Or like the footsteps of someone who could barely walk.
Everyone, where are you?
Snip, snip, snip.
I'm really sorry. I just wanted to mess around.
Doors slammed open and closed. Clara's wailing didn't stop. Every word that came out of her mouth sounded muddled and watery.
You guys, I'm so sorry.
So what the hell happened to Clara, and when the hell did it happen? You want to try that one again? The snipping came closer. When the door to the classroom suddenly slammed open, I nearly jumped out of my skin. Footsteps, footsteps, footsteps. She was coming over to the lockers. I held my breath.
Hi. What, did you think I was so dumb I wouldn't figure out you'd be hiding in here?
Jesus, that actually did kind of creep me out a little bit there. Clara went in to stab me right in the eyes. I ducked and attempted to snap it out of her hands. Her hand flew a little ways away, but the attack didn't knock the shears out.
You're really weak, you know that? Pathetic brat. Mercy.
Deliliah came out of the locker without Clara noticing. She grabbed Clara and pulled her struggling form away from me.
Let me go. Let me go. Let me go, let me go, let me go. Get out of here, both of you. Ah!
Clara stabbed her beloved Deliliah in the arm. Not even Deliliah had the willpower to resist that kind of pain. She staggered back, letting go of Clara.
Miss Deliliah, I won't forgive you for that, so...
Alma darted out of her locker and grabbed my hand, heading for the door. Ow! Delilah's cries made me stop and turn back. Clara stabbed her right in the shoulder, digging her shears around before pulling out.
Stay there and be a good girl.
For some reason, the violence is easier when it's wanton and not deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
Anakin Puta Nanam, oh, she's really lost her mind. Mercy, we have to go.
Like I'd let you.
Oh. Like some sort of monster, Clara came at us at an incredible speed, arms limp and flapping around. Her eyes were bloodshot, her tongue stuck out of her mouth without a care. Alma ran as fast as she could with me in tow. My legs were so weak I felt as if they would fail me any second. Broken glass from the windows cracked under our feet. Ah! Alma slipped. I came tumbling down with her, my body landing on top of her. In that moment, I felt my entire body seize up in shock from the pain. I struggled to get off her. Mercy, it hurts!
Ha ha ha! Idiots, idiots, idiots! Idiots, idiots, idiots! Stay right there!
Ignoring Clara, I rolled off Alma and looked above me. We landed right below the trash chute. Using the wall as support, I stood up, leaning against the chute.
Hello?
Reverse interrobang! But I didn't have time to run. Clara was already there. She raised the shears in the air and brought them down quickly, the sharp tip gouging at my collarbone. It felt cold. It felt sharp. It felt like an intrusion. Just like the poles did. I froze up. The intrusion had left my body, and Clara prepared to stab me again.
That's right. Hold still. I'm the winner here, Mercy.
Feel what I felt all... Oh, that's you.
Feel what I've felt all these years, every time Deliliah protected your pathetic ass. You owe me.
I'm going to die. Mercy, what do you owe these people? Before Clara brought the shears down again, I grabbed her wrist.
Huh?
I flipped around and slammed her wrist against the wall so hard she almost dropped the shears. Alma was just barely getting off the floor.
It hurts. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts.
I took my left hand, curled it into a fist, and punched her right in the face, using the flat of my fist. It hurt. I'd never punched someone before, even though I should have. Yeah, I should have done this a long, long time ago. Because...
Stop! Stop, stop, stop! It hurts, it hurts! Stop hitting me, please!
You want me to stop hitting you? I opened the trash chute. It was large to accommodate for lots of trash from messy kids, so you could fit lots of things in there.
Stop!
My trash struggled and writhed around. It was trash that definitely had to go. Trash that had been sitting around so long and it can move was disgusting.
Stop, 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 please! I'm sorry, I'm sorry!
The trash was halfway in.
I'll do anything. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I had screamed the same way before when this whole mess started. You didn't do anything to stop, Clara. Alma came next to me, placing a supportive hand on my shoulder. That's right, Mercy. It's good to take out the trash. It'll make you feel better.
That doesn't seem like the right message.
Yep.
Stop, stop!
The trash's legs slid in and disappeared into the chute. Loud metallic bangs could be heard beneath our feet. I pressed the button to start the process.
No. No, 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 no. Ow! It hurts! It hurts, it hurts! Ah!
The screaming stopped. A minute later, the compactor finished its job. The button turned from red to green. Yeah, tell me it wasn't inspired by Ryukishio 7. Come on, I dare you. I felt sick. A beetle crawled down my leg. Mercy, you did it! You saved us! I guess I did. Fast footsteps came from down the hallway. Deliliah rushed over to us, her hand over her shoulder. She had taken off her tie and wrapped it around her wound tightly.
Are you two all right? Where's Clara?
It began to occur to me that I had done a terrible, terrible thing. Put my hands on my head and pulled at my hair. She's dead, Alma answered after a beat without a hint of shame. Deliliah looked at us in disbelief, then turned her gaze down to the trash compactor.
I see. So that's what that screaming was about. I'm sorry, Clara. I couldn't do anything.
Question, if she tumbled all the way down, how was there blood dripping out of it? I know. But come on. Alma flared up. She just went crazy and tried to kill us. Who cares about what happens to her? She deserves it.
Alma, it might not look like it, but Clara has been suffering too.
Does it look like I care?
I'm sorry. I didn't think she'd do this. I kept asking her to try to get some air so she wouldn't break down from the heat and lack of sleep, but she was too scared to leave.
Alma didn't seem convinced. I didn't know what to do. I no longer knew how to feel about Deliliah. She tried to save me several times. Alma's theory was falling apart. My heart hurt. I felt lost. I felt scared. Deliliah had always been so nice to me, but Alma gave me all the answers I wanted to hear. Alma had done more for me in a few days than Deliliah had in 5 years. Deliliah was so cool-headed compared to Alma. But... In the end, I stayed silent as Deliliah led us back to the classroom. I stood at the very back of the group, ink branches growing behind me after each footstep. Who was I? I sat in a chair and stared at the grassy plains beyond the school. Little fuzzy ink beetles crawled around on the windowsill. My thoughts were so disorganized I felt like a pile of sludge. My eyes hurt. My brain was foggy. That scared girl who just wanted my help was gone. What have I done? Someone pulled a chair up next to me. Thought it was Alma, but...
Mercy, are you okay?
It was Deliliah. I immediately went on my guard. I see beetles. Pointed at them for emphasis. I wanted to feel pain. I deserved pain.
I'm not going to hurt you, Mercy. And I think those are just regular beetles. There's no need to punish you.
I tapped my feet on the floor. I wanted to throw up.
Do you want to be left alone?
I shook my head. If Deliliah left, then I'd feel less real. I need someone there to speak to me. To prove that I was still alive, that I existed. Nothing felt real at the time. It all happened so fast. I spoke without thinking. Tears welled up in my eyes. Deliliah didn't respond. She only listened. What happened? Oh, that's you. What? Sorry. That is me. What happened? Why does this keep happening? Everything's going fine, and then suddenly something bad happens that makes it all worse. Every time. Every single time. Ooh. The tears poured out. They were warm. Deliliah could only rub my back. I didn't care if she wanted to kill me or whatever anymore. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Mercy.
It took 5 minutes for the tears to dry out. For 5 years, I held back those tears, tightly locked away behind a dam constructed with a mask. It wasn't the best mask, and sometimes things still slipped through the cracks, but it was effective. If I pretended I didn't feel, then I wouldn't feel. Pretended I didn't hurt, then I wouldn't hurt. If I pretended I didn't hate, then I wouldn't hate. When did I start thinking like that? It wouldn't leave my mind. No matter what anyone said to me, no matter what comforting words they gave me, I still felt so guilty for not being able to handle it all like a normal person would. Like a stronger, better person would. Despite what I'd gone through, it was still weak and small. All I could do was cower in fear. So useless. I sniffled once, then twice, then stopped. Deliliah seemed worried.
Mercy, have you calmed down?
Uh-huh.
That's good. Mercy, I don't want to alarm you, so please listen carefully to what I have to say.
I braced myself.
We're running out of food. I didn't put enough in the hiding spot. I thought I had a lot, but between the 4 of us, it's all gone so quickly.
And now what? Voice came from... And now what? A voice came from behind us. Alma crawled out of the hole and approached us. She looked exhausted, angry. Deliliah appeared irritated herself.
We have to go to the church and get more. That's where all the food is.
Huh? Alma balled her hands into fists. So you want us to come with you to fix your screw-up? Are you kidding me? I peeked outside earlier from the 2nd floor. It's a living hell! Speaking of which, I hadn't looked out the front windows myself. Must have been subconsciously avoiding the inevitable so I wouldn't panic. There's no way things outside ended well.
If only I go, then I'll have to keep going back in short bursts because I can't hold a lot of food all by myself, especially with this injury. That will make it easier for someone to follow us back. This way, we can wait a little longer before we have to go back out again.
Alma growled. Seemed like she stopped caring about our plan. I'm sick of sitting around here like a prisoner with you. We're not doing it. We should just fend for ourselves. Right, Mercy? I shook and swallowed. Sorry, Alma, but even now I don't want to die. No. What?
Mercy.
We should trust Deliliah for now. She did all this. She knows so much stuff, more than me or you. We'd die if we were alone. Mercy! It's going to be dangerous. Oh, that's Deliliah.
It's going to be dangerous. Are you sure?
I nodded. It was better than being cooped up there anyways.
And if you're scared, Mercy and I can get it ourselves.
Fine, I'll come. Jeez. It was decided. Deliliah had us wait downstairs while she surveyed the area from the 2nd floor. Alma whispered to me in a low, enraged voice. Mercy, you'll regret this. A chill ran up my spine. Did I make another mistake? When she came back down, her expression seemed grim. What's out there?
It's better if you see for yourselves.
Sorry, I'm getting antsy with the clicking. She led us to the front entrance. Deliliah placed a hand on the door and took a deep breath.
Don't panic.
Saying don't panic makes people want to panic. The door opened. Dead. People were dead. Adults, children, the elderly. I even spotted a few corpses from some people in our class. The further up the hill you looked, the more corpses there were. Some of them were bloody and bruised like there was a struggle, but others lied there, their expressions permanently contorted into ones of extreme pain. It seemed like only the youths really struggled. The little kids and older people gave up at some point. This is horrible.
I know.
This is because of my curse too? I could have prevented this. It was all my fault. Deliliah suddenly pushed us behind the building. In the distance there was chanting. People were still alive, but who? It's possible that Deliliah saw them from the second floor. The chanting came closer and closer. A group of students were heading down the hill. There could have been only a dozen of them. A dozen people were left alive out of 150.
Oh.
No mercy, we're alive. Everybody else has to die. That's when I saw them. The poles. Every single one of them held a pole. Each pole was covered in blood. The front of that crowd. Just when you thought you hadn't had enough of moi. All right, everyone. Oh, is that Nin?
I don't know who's talking.
Okay. Let's start searching the building. Those four couldn't have disappeared. They're no demons. Faust did this. There's no doubt in my mind. No longer was his language slurred, he seemed completely lucid. Back to step even had a spring to it. This is bad. He's stumbling all over himself, that's one thing, but this... Held my breath. Nin stood next to him. She didn't seem pleased.
I'm telling you, I'm not mad anymore.
And I don't care. They're stragglers. Either they live or they die. That's the new rule around here.
Just leave them alone, Faust. Let them stay here.
Oh, so you know they're in there?
Ah.
I'm curious, Nin. Could it be that you've known the whole time? That's bad. That means you've been lying to us.
I didn't know. Isn't it the logical conclusion? If we can't find them anywhere else, then they have to be here.
Unless they ran out into the fields, and I said that's where we stopped caring. Oh no, that was... But you seem pretty nervous to me. I'm good at reading people, you know. Something you need to survive in this shithole of a town. I mean needed before we took over.
Nin.
Nin knew where we were, then was she pretending to look for us all along? Why? The little crowd approached the entrance. Deliliah ushered us behind the building. We hid under the window so we wouldn't be seen. I hid under the window of the first-year classroom we'd been hiding in. Some people went right into that room. Their voices traveled out of the shattered window panes.
Man, this place is a mess. There's branches sticking out of the cracks in the chalkboard. Did we do that? I can't remember.
Ew, there's a bunch of beetles around here.
Hey, come check this out.
More people had gathered in the class. I could hear their footsteps. How's this part of the wall like that?
There's a little hole.
Three of us looked at each other, eyes wide open in fear. Deliliah mouthed an oh no. She motioned for us to start crawling away in my direction. I started moving as fast as I could. Wait. Here's something. Something like grass rustling.
Oh, fuck.
That was definitely Faust's voice. Someone walked closer to the window. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. That's probably Nin.
That was just your imagination. I didn't hear anything. You're stupid.
What do you mean I'm stupid? Do you want to piss me off that badly, Nin?
I'm saying that because you are.
Two of them started a meaningless, loud argument, loud enough for us to shuffle through the grass without being heard. Nin saved us. We broke into a run out of the fields as soon as we were at least 5 feet away from the school building. Our aim was the top of the hill.
We're going to have to find a new hiding spot.
Why didn't you close it before we left?
You were the one who got out last.
Their bickering was starting to make me feel sick. Please just get along. We reached the church. Alma anxiously glanced at the school from our vantage point. Deliliah opened the door and peeked in.
The coast is clear. You two stay here while I get the food. This might take a while, so if they come here, hide somewhere.
Okay. Okay. That's probably not Alma. Why do we have to wait like sitting ducks? Deliliah left before she could hear Alma's complaint. We stood at the top of the hill. The sun was setting already. Why don't we hide in the place where all the food is? Oh, because... No, Nin knows where that is, but not... Faust.
Yeah, I was wondering that as well. I imagine there's a reason.
The sun was setting already. From here we could see even more dead bodies. I couldn't see the head or the family heads, but if Faust really did take over the town, I was sure they were dead too. I looked away. I couldn't handle it. I leaned against the wall of the church and sat down. Alma joined me. She crushed a few beetles crawling on the ground, making them splatter their black insides all over the gravel. She spoke quietly. Mercy, do you still like me? Huh? I mean, I ruined your life even more. She sniffled and began to cry. I panicked. It's okay, it's okay. No, it's not okay. I'm the worst. Well, please, it's fine. No, I have to tell you something. I stopped and listened. Truth is, I don't see what you see. I've never seen any of it this... I figured that much,
Yeah.
But... Any of it this whole time. What? My heart sunk. She lied to me? I couldn't believe it. There had to be a reasonable explanation. Alma, why? Why would you lie to me about something like that? I felt betrayed. I felt anger. I didn't want to feel those things towards Alma. I only came to you because I was so lonely. I was so scared. This town and everyone in it. And like that, all the anger washed away. She was just like me. She was just lonely. All she wanted was a friend in this new, scary world. I couldn't get mad at her for wanting the same thing for me. I pulled her into a hug. Her bells rang. Alma, it's okay. It's okay. No, it's not. When I see people like you, Alma. She fell silent. I started to rub her head. Even if everything went wrong, you still showed me so much kindness. You sang to me. Sang? Uh-huh. Nobody's ever been so nice to me before. Not even Deliliah. You're special, Alma. Her crying seemed to stop. I continued stroking her hair regardless. I'm special? You're an angel. A real angel. I know you think my logic is wrong, but I want to do unto you as you did unto me. And this is the best I can do. She hugged me back tight. She was so soft. Alma could be a little paranoid, clumsy. She could get real angry. Angry real easily too, but I like that about her. God, if you're real, I just want to be lost in this moment forever. Yep. Mercy. Thank you. Interrobang! Alma pulled away from me in a panic and scrambled to her feet. I joined her, staring into the cracked open doors of the church. It sounded like something heavy shut close in the distance. Was Deliliah okay? Let's go see what happened. We approached the door of the church. Interrobang! Let me go! 2 people came over and hooked their arms under ours. Mercy, Alma, how good it is to see you! Did you think we wouldn't hear you 3 running away? The grass crunches pretty loudly, you know. They turned us around and we faced the crowd of survivors. Faust smiled. Get here. Nin ran past us over to the door to the church. Alma glared at her as she passed by. Mercy, you'll regret this. Could it be Deliliah really has been trying to kill us? I get my heart broke into tiny, tiny little pieces. No. I fell for it. I'm going to get us killed. Felt beetles crawling up my leg, up my spine, into my pores. You look so upset, Mercy. That's the most emotion I've ever seen on your face. What changed? Oh, I know. You were the one that shoved poor Clara in the compactor, weren't you? How do you know about that? The inside was covered in blood. When we looked around your hiding spot, we found her ribbon. Doesn't take a genius to figure it out. Alma tried struggling out of her captor's grip. Let me go, let me go! What are you going to do to us? Oh, what are you going to do to us? That depends on what your answer is. Boss bent down, getting right in my face. How much do you agree with the term survival of the fittest? That's the wonderland I plan on creating here, not that's all mine. Can't handle that sort of world, I understand. You're a weakling after all. I'd just like to know if you want to die now or later. Don't talk to me like that. Anger bubbled up inside me and exploded. Faust ruined everything he touched. He always butted in and tried to make things worse for me. Why? What did I ever do to you to deserve this? Faust chuckled. Oh, mercy, mercy, mercy. Seems like no matter what I do, you'll never really seem to get it, do you? You're weak. Everyone in this town is weak. My parents were weak, our classmates were weak, even the group was weak. And I proved it to them. Despite all their struggling, I proved to be the stronger one in the end. That's because they never want to accept the truth. The truth? The truth that no matter how you put it, there's no way a god exists. Protect us? Kill the bad things? Be nice in hopes of other people will be nice to me? It's all bullshit. God never did anything but my parents beat me no matter how much I prayed. I smiled and smiled at them like the head tells us to, and yet when I slipped up one fucking time, my dad hit me. It means nothing. Faust shook with rage. For a minute, I thought he was about to punch me. And I'm about to prove it to you, too. By taking away something precious to you while you can't do a single thing. And by extension, killing a god. Why don't you boys take our little holy maiden inside? I paled. No! 2 more boys grabbed Alma to keep her from getting away. She tried her best to wrestle out of their grasp, but one kick to her gut winded her completely. During the scuffle, her ribbon untied and fell to the ground. They took her beaten body and lifted her into the air, then entered the church. I was dragged along with. The main room was in complete disarray, with torn-up books scattered all over the floor. Stained glass idols were shattered and destroyed. 4 boys disappeared into the hall and then came back. Came back out, lugging around something heavy and wooden, along with some rope and more poles. They set the wooden object on the stage, and brought Alma over to it, adjusting her position to fit on it. Mercy, watch carefully and take notes. This will be on the test. Slowly, they erected the wooden object. I immediately recognized what it was. No. No, stop it! Don't do this! I tried my best to wrestle out of my captor's grip, but to no avail. The crowd brandished their poles, smiling with glee. Alma slowly struggled to regain consciousness on the cross. Huh? Ah! Okay. They stabbed and stabbed at her. They gouged the arm, the chest, the torso, the leg, wherever they could reach. Faust whipped the crowd into a bigger frenzy, waving his arms around like a madman. There! There! Keep at it! Make it red! Stop, stop, stop!
Get out of my way.
Nin made her way through the crowd. One look at the scene before her was all it took.
Faust, stop this, now! Ah!
He punched her right in the face, not even gracing her with a proper response. She fell to the floor and held her cheek. Nin couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything. Hurts. It burns. Please stop. I don't like this. No more. No more. No more. A useless death. A meaningless death. 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 Don't add Alma to that list. Please stop it. Please. No more screams. No more pain. Alma eventually stopped struggling as her arms slowly started to come out of their sockets. Her breathing became incredibly shallow. Nin didn't look. She couldn't. The crowd laughed and laughed. Their excited shouts were deafening. Stop it. The beetles crawled all over my feet, branches growing near everyone else's. Stop. Stop it! A light went out. The crowd stopped temporarily. They muttered among themselves, confused. Then a loud booming voice rang out. Do you want to see survival of the fittest? Another light went out. I could barely see anything. Then I'll show you survival of the fittest. The last light went out, leaving us all shrouded in darkness. The ground beneath us rumbled. Nobody said anything. Our breath caught in our throats. I heard something fall over. Just then, the wall to our left collapsed. No, something broke through it. The light from outside shined on what that thing was. It was a large, blob-like creature with two poorly crafted hands. It looked fake. It was two-dimensional, like it was made from paper. It crushed two pews and stared out at the crowd, observing it with massive eyes. Nobody said anything. What the... Faust stepped forward and poked it with his pole. Lightning fast, it opened its mouth. Ah! Faust jumped back in surprise. Inside that mouth was an endless void of sharp holes. Papery, two-dimensional poles. Those poles slowly started spinning. Faster. 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 The speed of the rotation caused things to start moving towards it and to the maw. It sounded incredibly mechanical despite being only paper. Caught off guard, Faust tripped and fell on the ground. Couldn't get up no matter how hard he tried. Hey, stop, don't do this! Slowly dragged him in. Clung to a pew for a short while, only for his fingers to slip. Ah! Faust landed in its maw. His screams were cut short quickly as his body torn up and contorted within seconds, disappearing into seemingly endless rows of sharp paper poles. Everyone started screaming and running away. I looked for somewhere to run myself as more people were sucked in. Mercy! Someone grabbed my hand and dragged me out of the church before anyone else could get to the door. Took me far, far away from the church in the middle of town, right to the bridge. A person turned towards me. Nin?
Not that I care for you, but Deliliah told me to protect you, in case anything happened to her.
Where is she?
She's still in there. But it's too late for her, I think.
What?
Look.
Nin pointed at the church. The back of the thing was huge. It took up a significant portion of the wall it broke through. As it continued to suck things into its deadly maw, the entire building collapsed. From where we were standing, we could see the 6 people that made it out of the church. None of them looked like Deliliah, or Alma for that matter.
I ran in to get her help, but I couldn't find her. Wherever she was, it was probably where the food was.
The vomit that had been threatening to come out of me finally left. It was comprised partially of digested mystery meat, hardtack, and ink. Why? Why?
Huh?
Nin gasped while looking up at the sky. I raised my head. From the thing which had split open like an egg came millions upon millions of paper angels. They held hands together as they floated into the sky. Soon they covered up the entire sky, darkening the town like rain clouds. Survivors Nin and I watched in horror. Are we in a witch's nest? Is that what this is?
Maybe.
Paper angels descended with neck-break speed in a huge, flat swarm. They flew straight at the survivors near the top of the hill, decapitating them in quick succession. One tried to run, only to be killed from behind. They barely had a chance. The angels turned around and came for us. Nin and I both jumped off the bridge into the river to avoid the attack. They swooped inches above our heads. We laid low in the river as they kept trying again and again to kill us. The river turned a dark, dark black. Beetles floated down with the current. I heard Nin gasp, "The river!" She can see it. Oh, that's you, sorry.
The river!
She can see it. The angels came to an abrupt stop. I sensed a presence near the edge of the lake. I lifted my head. They started combining into a solid, three-dimensional form. The shape meshed together into...
Alma?
You two. Come here. She smiled at us. Nin and I got up out of the river and approached her cautiously.
Angelica, what happened to you?
This is my true form.
Your true form?
Uh-huh. This is how I'm gonna save Mercy.
Save Mercy?
Nin grit her teeth so hard I heard them grind together. She stood in front of me, holding her arms out protectively.
You were never going to save anyone other than yourself. That's how you always are.
Is that so?
I know how you are, Angelica. Every time you find someone vulnerable, no matter how many times Mama and I tried to take you to counseling, if one thing went wrong in our lives, you'd go searching for a new victim to relieve your stress with. Was our support not enough for you? Alma?
Alma, is that true? Alma didn't reply to me. She moved forward. Nin looked back at me.
Mercy, you need to run, now. Get away from this town.
Why?
Why? Are you stupid? Can't you see? She's not even pretending to be human anymore. If you stay with her, you're just going to get hurt.
You know, Nene, I don't understand your logic. You told me you didn't like Mercy, but here you are protecting her from a threat that doesn't exist.
Deliliah asked me to.
Deliliah is dead. You don't have any obligation to fulfill her wishes.
Well, I guess that changes everything. You're right. Even so, I know this isn't good for you, Angelica. You're never going to get better if you keep relying on...
Shut up. You don't care. In a flash, Alma grabbed Nin's neck and pushed her on the ground. She gripped tighter and tighter, never letting go. Nin struggled and hit Alma back, but Alma punched her to stop her from fighting back. Nina, don't misbehave.
Angelica, you... let me go.
Don't misbehave. This is good for you. This is for Mercy's sake. Slowly, Nin lost her strength. Her kicking became less frenzied.
I'm going to kill you.
In a flash, the head grabbed Yea's neck and pushed her to the ground. What? He gripped tighter and tighter, never letting go. Yea struggled and hit the head back, but the head punched her to stop her from fighting back.
Yeah, don't misbehave. Head, you let me go. Don't misbehave. This is good for you. This is for Mercy's sake.
Slowly, Yea lost her strength. Her kicking became less frenzied.
I'm going to kill you.
In a flash, Mom grabbed Dad's neck and pushed him to the ground. She gripped tighter and tighter, never letting go. Dad struggled and hit Mom back, but Mom punched him to stop him from fighting back.
Dear, don't misbehave.
Melody, you have... let me go.
Don't misbehave. This is good for you. This is for Mercy's sake.
Slowly, Dad lost his strength. His kicking became less frenzied. Going to kill you. In a flash, Alma grabbed Nin's neck and pushed her to the ground. She gripped tighter and tighter, never letting go. Then struggled and hit Alma back, but Alma punched her to stop her fighting back. Dear, don't misbehave. Let me go. Don't misbehave. This is for good of you. This is... Oh, God. This is getting... Why is this all being presented as the same...
Yeah, huh?
Oh, my gosh.
This is concerning and alarming.
And happening
For
over...
a long time. All right.
I'll protect you, Mercy. Everything's been horribly wrong. Mercy. Everyone was dead. Alma, what happened to you? You already forgot? This is my final form. I'm at my full power. Now that I've eaten in, I can use the powers of both halves of God. You ate her? I collapsed onto the ground. Why would you do something like that? Why? Because she was going to hurt you. Was she really? Mercy. Alma bent down and held me. I am the only person you need to depend on, okay? It's all going to get better. All the bad things are gone. I made sure of it. I've been planning this from the start. This town is all ours. I am the only person you need. I hugged her back tightly. Why? Why? Let's get married, Mercy. We've only known each other for a few days. Let's get married. Did you say you'd repay me? I want to marry you. That's how you can repay me. Stay with me forever. You're never going to leave me, Mercy, okay? Or I'll kill you. Clapping and cheers came from nowhere in particular. Alma was scaring me, but she held me so tight I couldn't run. She was so good at hugging. I wanted to sleep. Maybe everything would be fine if I ignored it. In our town of San Roque, 4 beggars were having some fun. The crippled man danced, the mute sang, the blind man watched, the deaf man listened. In our humble town that we proudly called our own, people slaughtered insects called gnats. From the fattest of these bugs, when cooked and drained, came oil that filled 9 vats. In our town of Malabon City, there was an old man whose fire boiled in a paper pot on a paper stove, and for fuel he used cold water.
So those are the lyrics to the song.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.